Welcome, listener, to our channel of storytelling and audiobooks. If you enjoy our stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Title: The Ashes of Carthage. Introduction. The ancient world was a vast tapestry of empires, each striving for dominance, wealth, and power. Among them, the mighty city of Carthage stood as a beacon of prosperity and naval supremacy, its influence stretching across the Mediterranean. But in the shadow of its wealth and power loomed the threat of Rome, a rising republic that would stop at nothing to conquer its rival. This is a story of ambition, love, betrayal, and the inexorable march of history. A drama set in the twilight of Carthage, when its fate was sealed not just by war, but by the hearts of those who lived within its walls. Chapter 1. The Sunset of Carthage. The sun dipped low over the horizon, casting a golden hue across the bustling city of Carthage. Its grand harbors, filled with merchant ships from all corners of the known world, were a testament to its wealth and influence. Towering above the city was the Byrsa, the citadel, where the ruling council convened to discuss matters of state. The air was filled with the scent of spices, the clamor of traders, and the distant sound of the waves. A city at the height of its power, yet unknowingly on the brink of its downfall. In the heart of the city lived a young woman named Alyssa, the daughter of a wealthy merchant. She was known for her beauty, intelligence, and a fierce independence that set her apart from other women of her age. Her father, Hanno, was a man of considerable influence, with connections that reached as far as the royal court. Alyssa had grown up in luxury, but her heart yearned for something more than the life of privilege and comfort. She dreamed of adventure, of making a difference in the world, and of a love that would transcend the ordinary. But Alyssa's world was about to change. The Roman Republic, having conquered much of the Italian peninsula, was turning its gaze towards Carthage. War loomed on the horizon, and with it, the future of the city and its people hung in the balance. Chapter 2. A Stranger from Rome. As tensions between Carthage and Rome grew, a young Roman senator named Marcus Valerius was sent to the city as part of a diplomatic mission. Marcus was ambitious, driven by a desire to rise through the ranks of Roman politics. But he was also a man of principle, one who believed in justice and the rule of law. He arrived in Carthage with a clear mission: to negotiate terms that would prevent war, if possible. Yet, deep down, he knew that the winds of fate were blowing in favor of conflict. Marcus was captivated by the city's grandeur, its culture, and its people. But what caught his attention most was Alyssa. They met by chance at a banquet hosted by Hanno, where Alyssa's sharp wit and striking beauty left a lasting impression on the young senator. Despite the tensions between their peoples, a bond began to form between them, a bond that would challenge their loyalties and shape the course of their lives. Alyssa was intrigued by Marcus, not just because he was different from the men she knew, but because he represented everything she yearned for: a life beyond the walls of Carthage, filled with adventure and purpose. But she was also aware of the dangers of getting close to a Roman, especially as war seemed inevitable. Chapter 3. The Fires of War. The negotiations between Rome and Carthage failed, as both sides were unwilling to make the necessary concessions. The drums of war began to beat, and soon the Mediterranean was engulfed in the flames of conflict. The Roman legions, led by the brilliant general Scipio Africanus, marched towards Carthage, determined to bring the city to its knees. Alyssa watched in despair as the war began to consume her beloved city. The harbors that were once filled with merchants were now filled with soldiers preparing for battle. The streets echoed with the sounds of marching feet, the clanging of swords, and the cries of the wounded. Carthage, once a beacon of civilization, was now a city under siege. Despite the chaos, Alyssa and Marcus continued to meet in secret, their love growing stronger even as the world around them crumbled. Marcus was torn between his duty to Rome and his love for Alyssa. He knew that his relationship with her was dangerous, not just for himself, but for her as well. Yet, he could not bring himself to end it. As the war dragged on, the situation in Carthage grew dire. Food became scarce, and the city's defenses began to falter. Hanno, who had once been a man of influence and power, now found himself on the losing side of a war he had tried to prevent. Desperate to save his daughter, he arranged for Alyssa to be smuggled out of the city and sent to safety in a distant land. Chapter 4: The Fall of Carthage. The final battle for Carthage was brutal and merciless. The Roman legions, led by Scipio, breached the city's walls and unleashed a wave of destruction. The once great city was reduced to rubble, its people slaughtered or sold into slavery. Hanno was killed in the fighting, his wealth and influence meaningless in the face of Roman might. Alyssa, however, was not among the dead. She had managed to escape the city, thanks to her father's efforts. But her heart was shattered, not just by the loss of her home and family, but by the knowledge that Marcus, the man she loved, was part of the army that had destroyed her world. Marcus, too, was devastated by the fall of Carthage. He had followed his orders, but the victory felt hollow. The city that had once captivated him was now nothing more than a smoldering ruin. And the woman he loved was gone, lost to him forever. Chapter 5: The Ashes of Carthage. Years passed, and the memory of Carthage faded into history. Rome continued to rise, becoming the dominant power in the Mediterranean. Marcus, now an older and wiser man, had risen through the ranks of Roman politics. But he was haunted by the memory of Alyssa and the city he had helped destroy. One day, while on a diplomatic mission to a distant province, Marcus encountered a woman who bore a striking resemblance to Alyssa. She was older, her face lined with the marks of time and sorrow, but there was no mistaking her. It was Alyssa, alive and well, living in a small village far from the reaches of Rome. Their reunion was bittersweet. The love they had once shared was still there, but it was tempered by the years of separation and the memories of all they had lost. They spent their remaining days together, finding solace in each other's company. But they both knew that the world they had once known was gone, lost to the ashes of history. Epilogue. The Ashes of Carthage is a story of love and loss, of ambition and betrayal, set against the backdrop of one of history's greatest tragedies. It is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit endures, and that love can bloom even in the darkest of times. But it is also a cautionary tale, a reminder that the choices we make can have far-reaching consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. Thank you for listening to The Ashes of Carthage. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel for more tales from history and beyond. Stay tuned for our next adventure.